Ayo! Almost got it. Almost got it that time. How are you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome in, everybody. My name is thumbspazm, an affiliated variety streamer here on Twitch, where we just like to hang out, have a good time, and build a positive environment for like-minded artists that like to support each other. How the hell are you guys, y'all? Thank you. It is news day today. What I need to do is just start it. I just don't know what to say at the beginning. Okay. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? We're going to get the news started, all right? My name's thumbspazm. Thank you for joining me for Thumb on the Pulse. This is a bi-weekly news segment where we talk about news that gets our heart racing and news that we find fun and intriguing. So I hope you guys are ready to join me as we get this rolling for Thumb on the Pulse. All right, 9 times now. 9 times? 9 times what? Episode 9. Yes, this is episode 9. Ooh, boy, episode 9. Wow, did you ever think we would make it this long, Fox? I hoped, and we're here. So I can only thank you guys for supporting me. Let's get the news started. As we always do at the beginning of the news segments, we do tend to get right into it and get right into it with some console news. Always news, especially with the new consoles just coming out recently. There was an independent testing group that decided they were going to put these two consoles to the test, having obviously hooked them up to the most optimal situations, 4K TVs with the best cables and things of that nature. They decided to test the Xbox Series X against the PS5. Honestly, not a whole lot to report in regards to this because both of them tended to perform quite well and very similarly. At the most basic settings, the normal settings, and then like ray tracing type settings, they were pretty much the same. The Xbox outperformed the PS5 in just the most slight manner. I, being an Xbox fanboy, definitely teased that I was gonna report this as if the Xbox blew them out of the water, but except for one category, not necessarily the case. Performed pretty similarly in regards to the hardware and graphics and things like that, which in its own self was a bit of a surprise. Xbox's hardware on paper is supposed to outperform PS5 2-1. Graphics are supposed to be dramatically better, things of that nature. However, in like the high frame rate modes and like the 120 frame rates and things like that, that's where we really saw one console take over the other, and that's where the PS5 really excelled. So if you do have that optimal home entertainment setting with surround sound and 4K TVs, you already got those gold cables sitting around just waiting to be plugged into a new console. Sounds like PS5 is going to be the way to go with that. But in regards to what console should you get or what console should you buy, if you're still on that debate, as a lot of us are, since a lot of us didn't get them on launch day, it's a toss-up. Make the decision based on something else other than hardware, at least at this point, at least until software developers and Microsoft and Xbox can figure out why Xbox isn't performing the way that its hardware says it should be performing. After consoles, we do like to touch base on games and software itself. We're going to jump right into new games as it sits. We have some news on Halo Infinite, which is a really fun one to talk about because it's another one of those giant titles that got pushed back when all of us expected it to be available nearly immediately. Like when it was announced in the Xbox showcase, it was only a matter of months before we were supposed to get our hands on this title, and yet this game was pushed back to HOLO-Day of 2020 before it was supposed to be like November, and then they really stretched that out to imagine that it wouldn't come out until the December type part of the holiday. And now we've got an official word from a lot of people, development company Microsoft, that Xbox Infinite is going to be pushed back at the earliest to fall of 2021. Now, looking into this story, there was a lot of speculation as to why it was pushed back, and I kind of got intrigued by the story. Basic information was that they wanted to bring in a former Halo expert, somebody had worked on the titles before and was familiar with the franchise, and they brought in I think it was a new director, or at least a new developer, software designer of some sort, to come and give insight as to how this game really should look. The official statement was that the software company lost a director of the game. Chris Lee was quoted in a statement in a magazine saying that he has stepped back from Infinite and he's looking for future opportunities. He believes in a team and he's confident that they will deliver the game, and now is a good time for him to step away. Now, this was back in October, at least late October, and only now are we getting the official information that it's being pushed back till fall 2021. I'm not sure why he left the company, if he was pushed out or he was fired or what happened, but that seems to be what a lot of the articles are focusing around, of the fact that Chris Lee was, I mean, he'd been working on the game all this time, and now all of a sudden he's gone. We're getting the pushback, having to bring in new people. It's all very, very, very intriguing. So hopefully we'll be reporting more on this story if anything unravels from it. If you still have any of those XP codes or any of the merch you purchased to go or coincide rather with the release of this game, hang on to it. It's probably still going to be good. Maybe. I hope you still have that code. Don't let it sit in the sunlight. Another game that we wanted to talk about was a game that I hadn't heard of until my researcher had brought it to my attention. Apparently, this is the sequel to a game. Neo means new, and this is The World Ends With You, the new version, or Neo, The World Ends With You. With the official trailer out there, the game is set to release summer of 2021 on Switch and PS4. The appeal to this game seemed quite unique. The idea within the game is that the characters that you are coordinating with, the NPCs in game, you're all trying to survive a death game, or what is in game called a Reaper's game. Now, this game is a sort of like limbo space where you're dead, you've died as a character, as a person, and you're trying to rise, you're trying not necessarily get to heaven, but an equivalent type of storyline, right? It's a limbo game where you're trying to decide whether you get erased or you ascend to that higher plane. I think the option is to become an angel or something. You get a few options after you quote unquote win. Now, what made it interesting to me is that in this game, you don't actually win if you win. Depending on how you manipulate this Reaper's game within The World Ends With You, or the new one, Neo, The World Ends With You, depending on how you play the game in positive ways or negative ways, dictate how you end the game, or the choices you have when you win, whether you do truly ascend and become an angel, or whether you get erased anyways, regardless of whether you finish the game or not. There's ways that you can finish the game and still lose the game, which was super, super intriguing to me. Just because you survive doesn't mean you win in this new action RPG. There's real-time combat, stylized combat that's super unique, very intriguing type of game that was brought to my attention with the news. And this is why we do the news, is hopefully bringing new, intriguing, and neat-looking games to your guys' attention. It's set in the city of Shibuya in Japan, which apparently is a pretty common city for games of this RPG type nature to take place in. This one specifically, though, is going to be a stylized recreational rendition of Shibuya. So other reasons to check it out. If you have any intrigue in it, we'll include the link to it down below. So check it out. For mobile gamers out there, we have some news. Crash Bandicoot is getting his own new mobile game, which is kind of exciting. It's very similar to Temple Run, but with all of the Crash Bandicoot characters and surroundings. So yeah, it's basically the long-form running type mobile game, basically Temple Run, but with a lot of other options. It is going to have the Temple Run just finishing levels type of mode, but the other aspect to it is it will have time trials modes, which I'm sure you'll be able to compare. Since it's on your phone, which is almost consistently connected to the internet, you'll be able to compare these time trials to other people, which will also make it a little bit more competitive and a little bit more fun. There's 3 different times to compete against, with special relics inside the game that unlock different types of aesthetics and things after clearing each one. So just a fun game we want to report on. I've been playing Crash Bandicoot since the first one came out on PlayStation, so Fox knows to throw in the Crash Bandicoot news when there is news. Persona 5 is coming out with a new game, Persona 5 Strikers. Now, the way that I was explained this game was that it's similar to Hyrule Warriors in the fact that it utilizes the same characters and the same generic lore and style as a previous game, but create a whole new game out of this. This is a new story. The gameplay is similar, but combat is a 3D combat system versus the turn-based combat system. You get to use the environment for climbing and damaging type attacks. The trailer really makes it look like a Persona game, but there's gonna be a few key differences once you actually get into the thick of the game and get your hands on it. Theoretically, if you liked Persona 5 and the characters in that game, you're definitely going to want to spend some more time in that world with those characters. It looks like a great game. And again, this one is a personal recommendation from our friend Eternal Foxfire. So please, if you want to talk more about it, ask her, check her out. We'll probably be reporting on it more in the future, for sure. Now's one that I'm very excited to talk about. I've talked about a lot before, and people might even be a little bit mad at me for talking about it, but Cyberpunk 2077 is, for all intents and purposes, out today. I've seen people streaming it. I know people that were involved with the making of the game have been playing the game and streaming it today. It comes out technically tomorrow or December 10th. This game has a lot of intrigue around it and a lot of interest in it. And I'm interested to see how that plays out once it's released. I may be eating crow as people watch this video right now, so please shove it in my face. Remind me as you're playing it how amazing you think it is as you're playing it. Please comment down below exactly what your favorite parts are about it. I'm super intrigued to see how this goes. However, we've mentioned that there's going to be, I think we mentioned, or we found out in between newscasts that on the day of launch, either today or tomorrow, whichever it is for you, you are going to have a 43.5 gig update to look forward to before you even get to launch the game or play it or anything like that. The day one version, even after the 43.5 gig update, has been already reported to potentially trigger epileptic seizures. Now, this is something that maybe hadn't been on the forefront of my mind having looked at the game, but now in retrospect might even have been obvious with just the sheer nature of the neon lights and the flashing lights and the futuristic effect and everything like that. But specifically, there have been a couple cases where people have had their seizures triggered by the game in a prominent feature of the game called brain dancing, which I'm not sure if I'm spoiling anything at this point, so please do not be upset with me if I'm spoiling this brain dance part of the game. In the world of Cyberpunk 2077, essentially there's a virtual reality system called brain dance, in the instance where your character physically does put on a headset and you use brain dance to experience an expanded version of virtual reality. So having researched a little bit with my main researcher about seizures and epileptic seizures and the triggers of epileptic seizures in a very what am I trying to say? In a very thumbspazm way of explaining this. Generally speaking, seizures like this can be triggered from rapidly flashing different colors of light, or what's called flicker stimulus. In many cases, the flicker is a range of 10 to 30 flashes per second. This is the rate that causes those seizures to be induced or triggered. In instances of the characters utilizing the brain dance technology in the game, there are rapid successions and rapid flashes of blue and red lights that can be followed or intermittently interrupted by patterns of white on the entire screen that seem to flicker for a few seconds. The similarity of this intermittent light stimulation and the previously mentioned flashes that induce seizures is cause for concern for Cyberpunk, and they do intend on now, I mean, they're already working on, as soon as it was reported, making another update for the game in hopes of not putting their fans at risk, people that have been waiting for so long to play this game. They're obviously concerned and don't want this to be an issue. So even though you may have just loaded the game, even though you're halfway through the 43.5 gig download to try to play the game, and you're listening to me to try to kill the time while that loads, just know you might have another update coming. And I'm sorry, but it's for the best of everybody, I promise. Moving on to game updates instead of new game type news, a game that is a favorite to many of us. This game is Animal Crossing. We've got a new update coming up. Well, I guess it's been updated, but they're gonna like trickle out little tiny updates, little sprinkles of updates, little snowfalls, if you will, of updates. Animal Crossing New Horizons is about to have Toy Day here soon. There is going to be many fun things, and as you guys can see from this deliciously gorgeous cute little picture right here, first and foremost, don't forget to shop at the Nook shop during this update. You're gonna get new toys from the Nook brothers every day. I think I've already gotten a racetrack, a couple dinosaurs, some robots, some really neat toys. They're selling toys every single day. The clothing store is also going to get jackets and hats specifically designed for this frigid, chilly season. Mr. Nook is even going to decorate his tree with lights, maybe even other trees on the islands. Who knows? You've been able to catch snowflakes if it's been snowing on your island up until this point. If you haven't, that should start, I think, today, December 9th, or tomorrow, December 10th. Bring those snowflakes to craft new DIYs. Bring them to your tables. You're going to want to see what you can build with those things. Also, a special friend guest, Jingle the reindeer, is going to be coming to all of the islands, and he's going to be bringing all sorts of Christmas decorations and all sorts of fun jolly Christmas things your way. So keep an eye on Animal Crossing, guys. It is only going to get cuter, particularly if you're a fan of the holiday Christmas December season. So I hope everybody is going to enjoy that. Side note with Animal Crossing, there will be shortly a line of Mario themed furniture that's going to be coming to Animal Crossing in celebration of Super Mario Series 35th anniversary. There is going to be a line of Mario themed furniture that you'll be able to, I hope, purchase. Maybe there'll be a fun activity that we have to do in order to get it. Theoretically, that's going to be coming out in March, I believe. Weird news coming out of a shooter. We have Call of Duty in the news. Most shooters that are out at this point have already introduced or have already announced their holiday, December, wintry, Christmassy updates. The things they're going to be doing to the world that you've been shooting people and enjoying the mayhem in to make it a little bit more festive. With that, Apex got its update. It was a little glitchy at first, but honestly, it was quite fun. That one included some fun things that we'll talk about later. What other one? Fortnite, I believe, already got its update. One that people are super excited for and curious whether they'll get one at all or not is Call of Duty Warzone. The rumors have it that there will be one, and there have been leaks that have been coming out in the form of glitches in the game, which, you know, Call of Duty glitchy? What? Glitches in-game, like this one from the Lumberyard. This is an example right here of one of the glitches that we've seen repetitively, not just in the Lumberyard, but in other maps of the game. And they look just so... You guys tell me what you think. Do you think this is just like a light glitch? Because it looks just like very bright lights to me, but at the same time, they are curiously colored. They seem to be distinctive hints of green and red to see if perhaps they maybe will be doing some sort of holiday update, just blinding everybody in the darkness so you won't be able to see very well. Who knows? But the rumors are out there that there will be a Christmas type update for Call of Duty Warzone. We'll see, A, if it actually happens, and B, if it looks anything like this. Moving along to the next item on our list, Sea of Thieves is getting quite an interesting update, which I can't say completely I didn't see coming, and it makes complete sense in regards to the business model that is Sea of Thieves, but it is a little obvious of a money grab. Sea of Thieves is a game where you set sail on the high seas in quite a phenomenal environment, if I do say so myself. From the characters to the boats to the sea itself, just a really, really good game. For me, the problem, if you want to say that, the problem with the game is simply that it's pretty one-dimensional. You pillage, you get money, you spend money to get new clothes and new outfits, and repeat over and over and over again. Well, Sea of Thieves is adding seasons and also a battle pass system to the game in 2021. These new updates to the game's adventure mode will result in, unfortunately, them no longer developing the PvP mode or the arena mode in Sea of Thieves, as to where you will still be able to participate in arena mode or PvP only battles in Sea of Thieves. You just won't be getting any updates for that anytime in the near future. Festival of Giving, which I believe is the first season, will launch December 9th, and it's going to bring, which is today actually. So the Festival of Giving is going to launch today in Sea of Thieves, which will bring an advent calendar sort of gift giving event within Sea of Thieves. There's going to be 12 days of giving. You're going to get login bonuses, gilded voyages, Twitch drops, and a lot of other cool stuff. If you're a huge Sea of Thieves fan and you die to get those exclusive items, now's the time to start playing over the next 12 days. You're going to get some really cool stuff. So definitely check that out. I may even dip into it just because I would love to have that unique stuff, even though I don't play that often. Apex also got its shooter stereotypical holiday December update. It looks a little bit like this, or at least it's themed like this in the blues and the really cool holiday type colors. It is called the HOLO-Day bash event because the hologram discs or whatever you can drop all over the map were just introduced in season 7, so I don't doubt that this is their opportunity to market that because they are types of things you can purchase in game. Features the return of Winter Express limited time mode. Now Winter Express is a new game mode to me, but something they featured before in Apex. It's a King of the Hill type mode where all of the legends compete to conquer a moving train, which sounds super exciting, and I'm really trying to give that a shot one of these Community Tuesdays, so any Apexers out there, definitely let me know if you want to play with me. This year, slain players will respawn on board of the flying loot ships, and then they can come back and parachute down and get back in the fight. You're going to get tons of fun new cosmetics, winter-themed cosmetics for both all of the old and any of the new legends, so don't worry about that. Honestly, this holiday season is going to be a lot of fun for game updates and these online multiplayer type games, so I hope all of you guys are checking out and taking full advantage of all these free, fun loot type situations. Continuing on in our holiday theme as to holiday updates and those types of things happenings with our favorite games, Fall Guys is no different. It definitely is getting a holiday type update, but this one's going to be an entirely new season for Fall Guys. We are getting a third winter-themed season. It looks like they are going to include at least one new minigame, if not a few new minigames, specifically because that was one of the main complaints that Fall Guys had when it was released, is that it just had such a limited amount of games, causing the variety to wear thin very quickly. This one's going to add at least a few more, according to Mediatonic. They definitely said they're going to be increasing that number noticeably. There's going to be snowmen, penguin, and Grinch type costumes that you're going to get to win, buy, or wear in the game. The studio announced this new season quite uniquely, and I had a really fun time reading about this in my research for this story. What they did is the Fall Guys Twitter account sent 300 pieces of an official promotional image to 300 active Twitter users from their community and tasked those 300 people to put together the image to figure out what the announcement was. Fans quickly got together on a Discord and got all their pieces together, pieced it frame by frame, and actually that's literally the image you're seeing right here. That's why there's a bunch of lines in it. This is the image they pieced together with all of their 300 pieces to figure out there's going to be a new season 3. So thank you guys for working so diligently together to get that announcement out to us as quickly as possible. What a cool way, what a great marketing idea for a company to get interactive with their fans, with their community. Phenomenal. Now is the fun, interesting, weird, potentially offensive, no, nothing offensive, I promise, but potentially things that you may not have heard of before, or something that you may have heard of and might have unknowingly wanted us to report back in the news. This is the fun facts portion of the news, where we just kind of pull the weirdest, neatest, most intriguing stories out of the gaming news that we saw, and we try to throw it your way. The first one of this was one that I had actually heard of before Fox brought my way, and this is a new ASMR. If you guys are looking for a new way to tickle those ear holes, ladies and gentlemen, the Pokemon Company has now announced and put forth 5, don't get me wrong, not just 1, not just 2, but 5 ASMR videos featuring their Pokemon characters. The most popular of which has been the Pikachu Pokemon ASMR video. That was harder to say than I anticipated. There are also characters like Squirtle, I think Bulbasaur, but a few other characters that have ASMR videos out there on the internet. Basically, the idea was that the company wanted to give you the opportunity to just spend some time with your favorite Pokemon characters. Literally, the article I read said the purpose of this was to give people just a chance to spend 15 minutes with their hanging out in a casual, laid-back ASMR situation. So if you want to give it a shot, we'll definitely be including a link to those videos down below. If ASMR is your thing, then you might really enjoy it. I don't understand it. It's not my thing. But again, we don't shame around here. If you love it, this is why we include stuff like this. Just really innovative news with this one. Minecraft recently got an update. I'm not sure if many of you realize, but this update, at least specifically for Windows 10 users, for the Bedrock Edition, will allow the ray tracing option, which we actually saw announced back in the Xbox Showcase, which we do have the video from the Xbox Showcase on YouTube if you want to go back and check out that video. They had introduced the idea and the images that they had drawn from ray tracing with NVIDIA's RTX graphics cards and other high-end graphics cards out there. It's just insane. Like, the images, we just added a resource pack to our Minecraft realm that added some sort of an HD type feel to the game. That blew my mind. This ray tracing, though, holy quaskatoons. I am super, super intrigued. I may even think about upgrading my graphics card here in the future just so I can experience Minecraft ray tracing. Like, it looked so good, especially with the cave update that's coming around the corner. Like, that's gonna be insane, absolutely insane. There are obviously minimum requirements in order for Windows 10 users to take advantage of the ray tracing. For starters, like I had mentioned, the NVIDIA GeForce RTX graphics card, also a CPU on the plane of an Intel Core i5 or equivalent is necessary. You're going to have at least 8 gigs of RAM to run this puppy. So yeah, good luck to all you PC owners. If you're excited about it, get to upgrading. Now, to end the news today, we've got 2 stories that were super, super exciting for me. Just over the moon thrilling to me. So we're going to end it with these last 2 stories. Bioshock 4! Oh my god, we might have an opportunity to play Bioshock 4 within the next 5 years, guys. It has been announced that Cloud Chamber Games, a studio that has been connected to a potential Bioshock 4 in the past, has put out job listings for not just a systems designer, but also a senior voice director. Interesting points. They suggest a more similar dialogue option like a Fallout type series, and more of an open world map like Bioshock 1 and 2, kind of veering away from that more linear type gameplay like Bioshock Infinite was. The game's definitely going to need a few years at least to get some development and to potentially get some gameplay images out there, but the process has begun, folks, and the idea is to make it more similar to Bioshock 1 and 2, which were my personal favorites, with a little bit of an open world, maybe, you know, character type style that Fallout has. We were thinking about getting into Fallout on the stream, so maybe now's the time for me to start playing those games so I can get a feel for what Bioshock 4 is going to be like. I loved Bioshock 1 when it came out and I first played it. When we replayed it on stream, it only hammered home how big of a fan I am of that game and that series, despite not liking the third one very well. So we still have to finish Infinite on stream. We'll get to that, but hopefully in preparation for Bioshock 4, I can't tell you guys how thrilled I am that that news came out. Our researchers scouring job postings to get us news. Last but not least, though, a huge, just fun, hopeful story to end the news segment on. It has been announced that despite the pushback, despite the delay, Super Nintendo World does exist. It is ready to be opened, and in at least Universal Studios Japan, they've announced that on February 4th of 2021, they'll be opening the doors to Super Nintendo World now. The image you're looking at here, please take a very, very close look at it. This is an actual picture, like a photographic picture of Super Nintendo World. This isn't a 3D rendering. This isn't their idea of what they want it to look like. This isn't a rendering of it in a video game. I still can't get over the fact that I'm looking at multiple pictures of this place right now. This is real. This is the park. Oh, it's so crazy. You can't even see, but at the top of, let's see if I can point at it. At the top of this hill right here, They're coins that are spinning, and it's just so mind-blowing. I'm going to include a link down below in the description to a couple different articles probably of Super Nintendo World. Please check it out yourself. So many cool features, including a Mario Kart racing track that's going to utilize augmented reality, guys. You're going to be on a racetrack with a visor on that's going to utilize augmented reality to allow you to throw specialty items at your opponents, slow down their cars. If you hit a peel, I would imagine that your car is going to spin or slow down, similarly to the augmented reality. What was the Mario Kart they just came out with the remote control cars? I would imagine it's very similar to that, but with actual cars. The ride includes 2 sets of tracks that are side by side, so you should be able to race other karts on the track. You're going to start at Bowser's Castle, which also looks so sick in the pictures, and then you're going to go through a lava section, you're going to go underwater, through a haunted area, and finally, in Super Nintendo World, in your car, you'll go through a real-life Rainbow Road. Y'all, if you haven't wanted to go to Japan yet, how could you not want to go? This just blew my mind. The images look incredible. There are actual trailers out there. There's pictures of the gift shops. There's pictures of the food they're going to serve there. My brain is blown, y'all. My brain is blown. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, this was Thumb on the Pulse. I hope you enjoyed all the information I threw out there to you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button so you can catch all the videos that we do on this YouTube channel. If you liked anything, please hit that like button. Leave a comment down below as to anything you wanted to talk with me about. We'll talk about it later live on stream. Check me out on twitch.tv/thumbspazm if you ever want to take part in these live tapings of them. But with that said, guys, my name's thumbspazm, and that was the cool stuff that we found by putting our thumb on the pulse. Have a great rest of your day, guys. So, yeah, sorry, but you're welcome. But enjoy. HeHe.